Alrighty, you are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Dallas Cowboys. Why the Dallas Cowboys 0-16? Because they suck. They suck. They suck. The Dallas Cowboys just suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there, if there's anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay of this at all, thank you, thank you, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. Once again, thank you. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away, throw in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes, so as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. Plus, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, there's the top link in the description box. Takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support me and my cause here, I greatly, greatly appreciate it. And I thank you in advance. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put a video out, you'll be notified, and it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then finally, in the description box, you'll find there's 2 Facebook links. The top Facebook link takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my group. Basically, I say this in every video. I my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, my Facebook pages, I pretty much all call the same thing. That way, I dumb it down for more on like me. So that way, I can remember. It's not like what's my YouTube channel, what's my Facebook group called, what's the Facebook page. It's all called the same thing for me. All right. So the the Facebook group, it has I have over 3,700 members in the group. Doing well. Usually what happens is after I get done going live here, I'll spend the next couple hours putting stuff in the group and in the page, which I'll go over in a minute. I put, whether it's an article, a post, a picture, something just showing some stats, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites. I try to get, if I can, up to 10 different things in there in the group every day. And not only, if you become a member of the group, not only do I post stuff in there, but the members post stuff in there as well. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going into the group every day. And then the second Facebook link takes you to my Facebook page. It's a page. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a page. I'm the administrator, so I'm the only one who can post anything in here. So what do we got? We're up to over 1,700 likes, and we're over 6,000 followers in the group. It's really, really doing good. It's really taking off. But it's the same thing. I post, I try to get to 10 different things in here every day if I can. As I said, same thing. I said, whether it's a video, an article, a post, a picture, something just showing some stats of a player, something, once again, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys. I try to get up to 10 different things in here every day, and I don't commingle them. So basically, for the most part, the stuff that I put in the page, I don't put in the group. Whatever I put in the group, I don't put in the page. I said every now and then, if I find something really, really just makes fun of the Eagles, I just got to share it with everybody. So I might put it in the page in the group, but for the most part, I just try to keep the stuff separate. So if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it and you go to the group and become a member of it, there's a ton every day, a ton of New York Giants information every day. And like I say, in every video, right? If you go to the page and you like it and you follow it and you go to the group and you become a member, if you're not 100% satisfied, you get your money back. Guaranteed. All that stuff said and done and out of the way with. The PFF finally, this is well deserved. Certainly well deserved. finally shows the Giants a little bit of love, and with the defensive line. Now I got my I'm doing my rankings or whatever you want to call grading of the NFC East, but I got the interior defensive line. PFF's got like the whole line. They got the edge rushers, defensive ends, whatever you want to call them, and the interior defensive line. So they graded it all one shot, right? So they got the Giants up in the top 10. So that's very, very well deserved. Of course, they got the Eagles. I think the Eagles are number one. The Eagles are, although the Eagles they lost, they lost a little bit. They're kind of hoping. All right. Yeah, the Eagles are number one. Yeah. However, they lost Javon Hargrave in free agency. But they drafted Jalen Carter. Okay, great. Let's see if a guy can try to maybe, I don't know. Guy might have had some issue problems, so I'm not sure if I don't even know if the Giants would even have drafted him or something. But that's the Giants, and of course we're talking about the Eagles here, so the Eagles are totally different. I don't know. I just can't stand the Eagles. Can't stand them. But PFF has the Eagles at number one. The defensive line, right, which includes obviously the interior defense, like the two tackles and the edge rushers. So the whole kit and caboodle there. It says a season ago, Philadelphia ranked second in the league in pressure percentage despite blitzing at a below average rate. Well, yeah, that was the beauty of for them is because they could get so much pressure with their front four, they didn't need the blitz. That's the ideal thing. And then if you could just pick your spots, pick and choose your spots when the blitz, man. That's, the Eagles had, it was 70, 69, 70 sacks. Just basically with their front four, right? It says, while the Eagles lost interior defender Javon Hargrave in free agency, they were able to draft Georgia's Jalen Carter. And then there was a case to be this is funny. There's a case to be made that Philadelphia's second string defensive line would also rank in the top 20 on this list. Well, I'm not so sure about that, but they lost Javon Hargrave, Fletcher Cox. How old? He's getting up there in age there. They got Fletcher Cox. He's 32. He'll be 33 this year. So, last year was last year by far was his worst, according to PFF. That's all I'm going by. All right. I'm not going to say here, well, I broke down Fletcher Cox's tape. I watched each one of his plays 312 different times, and I broke it down, and I wrote it down. I graphed it, and I didn't do it. I got PFF here. All right. But according to PFF, last year was Fletcher Cox's worst season that he had. He played 808 total snaps. He graded out at a 60. His previous low was 63.1, which he had in 2013. Okay, so once again, he's played. By the end of this season, if he plays almost the whole season, if he stays healthy, this is his 12th season, he'll play on almost 10,000 snaps. Now the Eagles got quite a few guys that have played a lot of snaps. There's some of their better players. So Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, Fletcher Cox, some of the guys that, Fletcher Cox is definitely on his way down. He was not what, Also, you can also look at, sometimes the guys around you make you better, right? So, if the guys as good as they were last year did not made Fletcher Cox grade out at a 60, that's not really saying much. His time is coming to an end here. But so they got Fletcher Cox and I also see that maybe have Jordan, try to have Jordan Davis in there, right? They drafted him number one. Let's see, was it 113? Yeah. Okay. All right. They got Fletcher Cox, who's drafted in the first round, pick number 12, and then of course they took Jordan Davis last year in the first round, selection number 13. But I'm not really sure why the Eagles took guys, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe they thought Jordan Davis was going to wind up taking Fletcher Cox's spot. I mean, because it's like you draft a guy number 13 overall and he plays 270 snaps for you. Yeah, really. You draft a guy in the top 13 and he's basically a backup. Yeah, yeah, okay, all right. Then again, that's the Eagles for you. As I say, he graded at 72.6. It didn't grade, Jordan Davis didn't grade out too bad. But also, he played a minimal amount of snaps. He played. What do we got? His highest, it was against the Cardinals. He played 29 snaps. Right? He played 6 snaps against one game. He played 9 snaps in another, 9 snaps in another, 17 in one, 15, 14, 16, 10 snaps in another game, so he might have graded out, but it'd be interesting to see if when he starts playing some more snaps, is he able to hold up? We got Sexy Dexy in there for like 99% of the snaps, and he graded out really well. Jordan Davis is in there for 10 snaps, and he graded out okay. But when Jordan Davis has got to be in there for maybe 30 or 40 snaps, does he start tiring out a little bit or what? So it'll be interesting to see. But they got the Eagles at number 1. But it's also including the edge rushers as well too. So it's kind of hard to argue with that. But they do have the Giants. Let's see here. The 49ers are number 2. They got the Commanders at number 3. And that's once again, it's hard to argue with the Commanders at being number 3, especially with Chase Young. But the thing is, will Chase Young stay healthy all season? It's really a shame because, just the freakish, phenomenal talent that Chase Young has to offer. The guy can't stay healthy. It's a shame. They didn't pick up his 5th-year option. It's gonna be interesting to see who picks him up and how much they wind up paying him. Could be the Commanders. It certainly doesn't mean the Commanders won't pick him back up, but it'd be interesting to see what he gets paid based on his injury history. Let's see. So as I said, so they got them, but then they got the Giants. They got the Miami Dolphins at number 4. Pittsburgh Steelers are number 5. Cleveland Browns are number 6. Buffalo is 7. Dallas Cowboys are 8. Right behind the Dallas Cowboys, they got the New York Giants. And it says the New York Giants, no player improved as much as interior defender Dexter Lawrence did in 2022, ending the campaign as the 2nd highest graded player at his position at 91.6. Very impressive. Lawrence and Leonard Williams will form arguably the best interior defender duo in the NFL. This defensive line could enter the next tier if either of their young edge defenders, Kayvon or Azeez, make a big leap in 2023. Now, it's going to be interesting. The thing, I think Azeez will certainly make a big leap if he can stay healthy. As I said, what he was able to do last year in the minimal amount of time he played was just silly. If he played all of the pretty much as many snaps, I think, as Kayvon did, I think he was on pace for about like 14 and a half sacks last year. He was really did such a good job, but he just couldn't stay healthy. So it's going to be interesting to see, can the guy stay healthy this season? If he can stay healthy, I definitely think without question Azeez can make a big leap. And then I think if Kayvon continues to work on his craft, continues to work on, I think Wink wanted him to work on his leg and his strength and his core strength, and work on that on the off season and continue to work on his craft. And I think without question, I think Kayvon can certainly make a nice leap too. So I definitely think the Giants have a nice front 4 here. The thing is that you don't know because with Azeez, can he stay healthy? The other thing is the Giants have a nice front 4 now, but what are they going to do with Leonard Williams going forward? Right? Are they going to offer him any type of a are they going to? I guess they can basically wait and see after the season's over with. Can he stay healthy? Does he stay healthy? And then we'll see, maybe offer him some type of a contract extension. you know, might put a little fire under his rear end, because last time, when he had the 11 and a half sacks, I think he was wanted a contract, got a contract extension. I think that was a few years ago with the Giants, and, it really lit a fire under his what. So, he's wanting to stay. He's not, he's trying to think, is he going to be, once again, I got all these tabs opened up here. Wait, nope. Nope, there he is. Okay, he'll be 29. Oh, actually, all right. Whoa, 5 days he'll be 29. Okay, so he's not even 30. The problem is he came into the league, early. He's been around since 2015, so he's played 6,600 snaps so far. So, he still has some football left on him, but he won't even be 30 yet. He'll be 30 next year. So the thing is, he'll have over 7,000 snaps under his belt if he stays healthy. He still has, I'm sure, a few more years of decent football in him. It'd be interesting to see what the Giants want to wind up doing with him, because I'm sure they want to see if he can stay healthy, if his neck, can stay healthy. How does he do? But, as I said, if it winds up lighting a fire underneath him, if we wind up getting a decent amount of sacks out of him, that'd be great. Because that's a nice front four right there. Really, really nice front four. So, if we can keep those guys intact, I'm all for it. But, it's nice to see the Giants at least the Giants got some love from PFF, because PFF doesn't like to show the Giants most. For some reason, they fall in love with the Eagles. But they don't seem like the Giants very, very much. Turds, PFF always looks down. Stephen A. Smith and PFF always look down on the Giants. Stephen A. Smith always picks on the Giants. He never has anything nice to say about the Giants. One thing I will say about Stephen A. Smith is that he hates the Cowboys, and he makes fun of the Cowboys when they lose. So I enjoy that. But yeah, Stephen A. he never says nothing about the Giants, nice about the Giants either. So. But it is what it is. Yeah, but PFF there, they don't have much love for the Giants at all. Then I saw this. What we got here? Oh, the Giants, their use of ghost motion. Got an article here from Big Blue View. What is it and how offenses use it? Explained. Now the Giants use it. Right. A lot of it, you got the ghost motion, but a lot of it's, maybe using like the jet sweep or so. Now that's something that they, you certainly see with the speed that they have. Maybe last year when Kadarius Toney, maybe try to get him in some type of motion, going flying across the formation before the snap. But you can certainly see somebody like Paris Campbell, right, coming doing something like that. But they, you can use obviously the ghost motion a lot, to get a guy going across the formation. Maybe bringing you might have to. They got a couple examples in here, bringing a safety down to cover, maybe to having to cover the guy, or the guy goes in, ghost motion, flies across, takes the cornerback with him, and then you run out that way where the cornerback vacated the area. So you can use the motion for a lot of different things. But they showed a couple examples of it here, and two of the examples were let's see. Well, one of them was in the playoff game. One of them was against the Colts. They used it against in a pass, and then two of them were in the first game of the season when Saquon started going off in the second half. One of them was on the it was in the I guess it was in the third quarter. It was at the 68-yard run. Yeah, and then the other one was on the final drive when he was running, and he was running free. He got down around like the 25-yard line, and the guy caught him from behind. The cornerback caught him from behind. He had a couple-yard lead on the guy, and the guy came down within about 20 yards, caught him, punched the ball out, knocked the ball out of bounds. Thankfully, when he punched the ball out, it went out of bounds. It didn't stay in bounds, because if it stayed in bounds, the Giants may not have gotten the ball back. So, but the ghost motion, you can certainly see it being used this year. Absolutely. It says the Giants recently wrapped up mini camp practice. As we transition into a 6-week break before training camp, we at Big Blue View will continue expounding on football terminology, which I really like. Really, really like that. Today we'll take a look at the ghost motion. Spooky, yes, even though it isn't Halloween season. Ghost motion is a pre-snap offensive movement where an offensive player, typically a wide receiver, yeah, absolutely, motions from the outside into the backfield as if he were going to take an end around, jet sweep, or reverse. Yes, I mean, that's the beauty of it, because, especially if you have Saquon in the background and you got a guy flying across, and you don't know if Daniel Jones is in the shotgun, right? The guy comes flying across. He can get this. Daniel Jones can get the snap just before he reaches Daniel Jones, gets the ball, flips it to the guy, and the guy can take off. Or if Daniel Jones is underneath center, and then of course, then they get the guy going in motion, flying across, and then Daniel Jones winds up, getting a snap just before he reaches it. It turns around, hands the ball off to him, and then the guy takes off. But it's can be very, very valuable. Or that too. I mean, the guy goes in motion, goes off to they say one side of the formation. If you run the ball to that side, now you have an extra blocker over there. But says ghost motion deceives the defense into believing the football is going to be going to the motioning player, which keeps the end man on the line of scrimmage honest instead of like trying to trace down there, because if you start running the ball the other way, right? I mean, if he has to stay honest, instead of him just running down the line of scrimmage, he might have to stay where he's at to see about what's happening. So, so you take that guy out of the defensive play. Let's see. It will also remove a man covering the defender from the receiver's original side of the field, and it could force defensive shifts. The Giants used this approach to successfully run the football against the Titans in Week 1 last season. There's two examples that they showed, and one was on the Saquon's 68-yard run. He got down to the sideline, just took off down to the sideline. I guess looked like the safety wound up getting the angle on him and pushed him out of bounds. It says, although the Titans did not bring a defender from the boundary to the field side to follow Sterling Shepard, the overhang defender stayed on the far hash, which allowed Saquon enough space to run for 68 yards in the third quarter. Yeah, I mean, that was oh my goodness. They used the jet sweep. I forgot. Shepard. What happened was Shepard ran across the formation. Nobody seemed to go with him, but they ran the ball to the spot that kind of Sterling Shepard vacated. So now they were weak in that area, and they still got a nice run out of it. I mean, 68 yards, that really got the Giants going. That was a huge, huge play. And then Barkley scampered for 33 yards in the fourth quarter on the final drive, the game go-ahead touchdown drive. I said Shepard's motion didn't force a shift per se, but attention was paid to the veteran receiver. Both of these plays were, they say here, with G lead, meaning play side guard lead. Okay. Double pulling, power gap, ghost motion, strong side toward the tight end, boundary runs, short side of the field, where the Giants sent a fast three to the field side to cause hesitation. Yeah, well, the one for his, they were on the one hash, and that's the way they wound up running. They ran the ball and had a nice hole there. Shepard once again ran in motion. He ran away once again. Shepard was on the one side that they ran the ball. He ran away from there to the other side of the field, and the Giants still ran to that side of the field, which just goes to show you. I mean, because a lot of times you're thinking, maybe we'll do a jet sweep. Maybe the guy can pull onto this side and become an additional blocker. But no, or if we have the wide side of the field, let's run the play that way because we got all of this room. No, on this 33-yarder on the final drive for the Giants when they took the lead against the Titans. I mean, they were on the one hash mark. It had the short side of the field. That's where they ran the ball, and it was a nice hole. Developed right there. Really, really nice hole. I mean, Barkley didn't get touched, but however, the one thing is that I pointed out this before, He had like a 2-yard lead on his cornerback, and if we were talking 2018, I mean, the cornerback caught him from behind. Obviously Barkley may not always be the fastest guy in the field or anything like that, but this cornerback caught him. So maybe, saying this, maybe Barkley might have lost a step or so. He certainly didn't lose his agility or nothing like that. But then, of course, there was a touchdown in their wild card victory over the Vikings, and we see a different rushing play design that used ghost motion successfully. It says from the pony package, the 21 personnel, the Giants run ghost motion, misdirection, crack toss, also known as crack sweep, to the weak side. Let's say, yeah, it was the same thing. They did the same thing. They took Matt Breida motioned. He motioned away from the side that they ran the ball to. So, and it wound up being very, very successful. Bob said Matt Breida motion, which caused the Vikings to rotate their strong safety down into the box. You can see it's from Big Blue View. You can check it. You can see it. It's the third video down. Matt Breida motions across, and as he's motioning across, their safety comes down into the box to basically to cover him, and it took him out of the play. And they had some good blocking on the side, and Andrew Thomas had a good block. He took his guy. He took his guy out. It was really, it was wound up being a great play. I said Isaiah Hodgins blocks the end man on the line of scrimmage, and Andrew Thomas kicks out the lead block. The combination of athletic, adaptive blocking, and Saquon's vision and patience helped the play result in an early road playoff touchdown for the Giants. Yeah, that wound up being a great one. And then finally, they got down here. They got when the Giants beat the Colts. They used the motion to get Bellinger open down the sideline. The Giants enjoyed rushing success by using the ghost motion to deceive its purpose, but Big Blue also incorporated the tactic in a variety of ways while passing the football. It says here, I love how despite suffering an eye injury midseason, the Giants found a diverse role for their rookie tight end. In the 12 personnel, 2 tight ends in an I formation with Bellinger in the backfield. As the fullback, Mike Kafka dialed up an end around ghost motion from the boundary side of the field with a play action element to occupy the eyes of the Colts defense. So basically, Bellinger was the fullback, I formation. I guess Barkley was in the back, but Bellinger was the fullback. So they got the ghost motion going across. Daniel Jones fakes the handoff, and Bellinger, comes into the line like he's going to block, and he sneaks his way out down the sideline. Daniel Jones turns around, and he's like wide open. Wide open. Hits him. I don't think he scores it, but I think the Giants, he gets down deep, and that wind up being, there's many ways to wind up using this ghost motion. It says here, Hodgins took Stephon Gilmore, the lone cornerback on that side, deep. Bellinger acted as a lead blocker, but then he exploded through the hole, ran down the sideline, turned around, and he was wide open. It says Jones found the rookie tight end for a 24-yard gain on the innovative. 24. Okay, they started at the 31, so he got down to the 7-yard line. Yeah, but he was like wide open. My goodness. And what it did, the beauty of it was he occupied the eyes, of probably Okereke. Right, because Bellinger, I formation. Bellinger's the lead blocker, looking like the fullback. Bellinger at the snap, he runs like he's going to maybe kick out the tackle or help the defensive lineman, or try to maybe kick the end out or something like that. And then he just sneaks right on out, and you can see the linebackers kind of freezing, because he's turning around. They might hand the ball off to the running back, and he freezes the linebackers. And while it freezes the linebackers, Bellinger's running right past them. And then Daniel Jones turns around, and Bellinger's standing like wide open down by the sideline. He didn't get in for the touchdown, but he got down to the 7-yard line. So the beauty of it, is especially with the speed kills. Now, another thing you like to see, you see this a lot, like for Alabama. And I don't even know why. I freaking despise Alabama because they win all the time. I can't stand them. And I like Notre Dame, and they kill Notre Dame every time they play. So I freaking hate Alabama. But a lot of times, like what you'll see Alabama do, or some of the other, colleges, is that you'll have a guy, once again, speed, right? Speed kills. Guy come flying, right? And he'll take, and he might be like, man coverage. So they'll have a guy, the wide receiver comes flying behind the line of scrimmage, and you can see in the background he's got a cornerback with him. Right. So the cornerback's like running just to try to keep up with him. Well, then all of a sudden the wide receiver just stops on a dime and reverses and goes back out where he came, and he goes out in the flat. I see this a lot like in college, and the cornerback can't keep up with him, because the guy, obviously the wide receiver knows where he's going. The wide receiver is fast, and he's got to be able to stop on a dime and change directions and all and everything. And, sometimes it works out so well, but I mean, the speed, there's a huge difference between like a Paris Campbell running out there, and somebody like me trying to run out there, but I mean, the amount of toys that they're starting to collect, is can be rather impressive. So hopefully look for Mr. Kafka to obviously Daboll and Kafka to start coming up with some ingenious ways to get these guys the ball, right? I mean, or you can do stuff, obviously like, you get the ghost motion flying across the line of scrimmage, maybe looking at maybe faking the pitch to Saquon Barkley, this or that or whatever. Well, you got all this crap going on. You got Waller running right down the seam or something like that. Maybe, he might wind up being wide open or, so that's what a lot of things. I mean, you got so many things going on. It's occupying the minds and the eyes of all the other guys. And while they're looking at all this other stuff, they're not looking at the guy running right past them, running down the field wide open, So, I mean, look for a lot of good stuff this year. It should be pretty exciting. Then I said that the supplemental draft, which the Giants had, they whoo, was it 2018? I think it's in here. So once again, I'm sorry. I have 900,000. The supplemental draft returns. I think there's only one guy eligible in the supplemental draft. But what was it? Was it 2018 they did for Sam Beal, the 3rd round pick, who was supposed to have been really, really good, but of course it never materialized. Sam Beal, 3rd round pick, the Giants from Western Michigan. He was declared academically ineligible in college. Yeah, but so the Giants have wound up with 3 guys. Actually, they took supplemental guys in back-to-back seasons. One of them, of course, was the quarterback, former quarterback, Dave Brown from Duke, right? And then that was in 92. And then the next supplemental draft they had was in 1994, and they took Tito Wooten, a cornerback in the 4th round. He was from Northeast Louisiana. Now, they don't have the supplemental drafts every year because some guys aren't, eligible for supplemental drafts. So I'm going to read this. The NFL supplemental draft will return this summer, but a little interesting, a little interesting here. A report from the Athletics, Dane Brugler. So I'm so happy for these guys. I'm so lucky because these guys do the dirty work and they put these beautiful articles out. Because I don't know about this guy. I don't know. I don't know about this guy being eligible for the supplemental draft. So I'm so happy and thankful that these guys do the dirty work and put out these beautiful articles for me to read and talk about. So it's just fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it. It says, as per report, the Athletics, Dane Brugler, and will be held on July 11th, the supplemental draft. This marks the first time since 2019, because not every year there's a guy or guys eligible for the supplemental draft. Okay, it's been the first time since 2019 that the NFL has held a supplemental draft. The New York Giants fans are likely at least passingly familiar with the supplemental draft, though that has more to do with the Giants' poor history with selecting players in the supplemental draft. The NFL traditionally holds a supplemental draft for players who are NFL eligible but find themselves in unusual circumstances because not everybody, goes to college, goes there 3 or 4 years, graduates college, comes out, and everything's hunky dory, and they're pro ready, ready to get drafted. That's not always the case. Sometimes there's little things out there that happen along the way. They can't, can't or aren't eligible or whatever to be drafted in the regular draft. It says, for instance, if a player didn't enter the like this year's NFL draft in April, but was later ruled ineligible for the coming season, all right, as such, the supplemental draft has significantly different rules than the regular draft. Now, this is interesting, too. It says, for starters, individual players who are eligible to play in the NFL who have at least 3 years removed from high school. Okay, so that's one thing. Need to petition the NFL in order to be admitted into the supplemental draft. So they have to petition their way in. They just can't say, yeah, I'm going to go in. It's not that easy. Right? Teams themselves are separated into 3 different groups for the supplemental draft. The first is made of teams with 6 or fewer wins the previous season. The second group is a group of non-playoff teams with more than 6 wins. And the third group is finally a list of teams with playoff wins. So that would be the Giants. The Giants would be in the third group. Team position with those groups is determined by a weighted lottery. So, the Giants would be in the third group. They would be, there's only so many teams in the NFL who have playoff victories from the year before. Final group is teams in playoff teams. Playoff teams. So that would be the Giants. So was it 14 teams? The Giants would be in that group. Some type of a weighted lottery. So, the Giants would be in the third group. So if any one of the other first 2 groups wanted the guy coming out, okay, which is there's just one from what I can see, the Giants wouldn't have a chance of getting the person, I don't think. From there, interested teams essentially hold a silent auction for the players who are admitted into the NFL. Teams submit a bid using next year's draft pick. So the Giants were interested in this one player who I'm going to go over. They would use one of their, a pick from next year on the player or players in question. Then they're awarded to the team that submits the highest round bid or to the team that drew the higher lottery position, if there are multiple bids in the same round. So if the Giants put in a bid, I guess, for, I don't know, whatever, somebody in the third round for this one player and somebody else put a bid in for the third round, the Giants may not wind up getting them. But as Giants fans remember, the team bid a 2019 third round pick on Sam Beal in the 2018 supplemental draft. That was Gettleman. That was the highest pick, and he was awarded to the Giants. Now, according at the time, that was supposed to be a really good thing for the Giants. It just never wound up working out where Sam Beal, just didn't seem to work out. So, but as of right now, as of this writing, when I'm reading this, former Purdue wide receiver Milton Wright, wide receiver, okay, is the only player who has been admitted into the 2023 supplemental draft. Wright was ruled academically ineligible for the 2022 season, but was productive in 2021. The 6'3", 195-pound receiver had 57 catches for 732 yards and 7 touchdowns. But he's 6'3", making him the Boilermakers' second leading receiver behind 2023 third-round pick David Bell. The Giants have limited depth on the perimeter of their offense behind Isaiah Hodgins and Darius Slayton. So it is certainly possible that they'll put in a bid on Wright. Possible. But, the Giants are going to be in the third group, so. But Joe Schoen has shown a willingness to use every available avenue to add talent to the roster. And given that this is the first supplemental draft in 4 years, we just don't know if he is open to spending future picks on a rookie this year. It would, though, be a bit of a surprise if they used a high pick if they do submit a bid. So, I mean, they just might, they might just maybe put a bid in. He's a wide receiver, 6'3". If they see something that they like in him, but they might put in maybe a 5th-round bid. But, I mean, he might wind up certainly might wind up getting outbid. It's going to be fun to watch the offense. Oh, yeah, I definitely think so. And the nice thing about it is that, it's the second year for a lot. Well, we had a lot of guys. I mean, so it's not the second year for if Jamison Crowder makes it. Is it Jeff Smith, right? Paris Campbell, Waller, Hyatt, Bryce Ford Wheaton. He might wind up maybe on the practice squad. But I mean, for Sterling Shepard, Wan'Dale Robinson, Slayton, Hodgins, Bellinger, obviously Saquon, Breida. So like half the guys, it's the second. Daniel Jones, which is huge because you don't want him kind of like looking at just two guys. You want him, first read, second read, third read, bouncing back and forth, looking, until he finds somebody. So I mean, it's really huge for Daniel Jones. So I mean, the familiarity is good. I mean, that's the one thing. I mean, it's nice, picking guys up. But I mean, one time it is what it is. It's the NFL. It's going the way it is. It's going the way it is. The way I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. But I mean, picking a guy up and then, I mean, like Richie James, picking him up. He had a good season last year, and you just let him go. Then you pick somebody else up this year, and you just let him go. And you pick somebody else up, and you pick these 3 guys up, and you just let them go after the, sometimes I don't know. Why did you pick him up in the first place? I don't. I mean, as I said, I mean, he had those 2. He had the 2 fumbles against the Seahawks. That certainly, I don't know. And that's the one thing you're never going to know. You're never going to know. I mean, Dable's never going to sit down. Yeah, the reason why we never signed Richie or Shane's never. Well, Richie James, reason why we didn't bring him back, but was, I mean, you're never going to know. But I mean, this would have been his second season in the system. He led the team. He was tied for the lead during the regular season in receptions. I mean, he can return punts for you if you need him. So it is what it is. But I definitely think this season is going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, especially because we got Kafka back. Obviously, we got Dable back, but the offense. I mean, we should put up some more points this year. Definitely. The big thing is let's hope everybody can stay healthy. Oh, as I said, I forgot about Colin Johnson. This will be his second season. I mean, not that he unfortunately was able to run many routes, but he should be very, very, very familiar with the playbook. So familiarity should be there. They said, it'd be interesting to see how many of these guys actually make the final 53. Do they start Wan'Dale and Shep on the PUP list? And when they come off the PUP list, are they on the 53? And who else gets kicked onto the practice squad? How many wide receivers can you keep on the practice squad? I mean, you're not going to have 5 receivers on the practice squad. That's not happening. So unfortunately, you might have to let a couple guys go. And that's going to stink, But then hopefully, maybe next year, well, that'll be interesting to see do the Giants try to get the dog, the number 1 wide receiver, or are they just going to try to play it where Waller's the number 1? And we're trying to, we got Saquon, we got Waller. We're trying to build our offensive line. Daniel Jones get more and more comfortable in the system, and we have some nice complementary wide receivers. And if we try to make another big splash, is it going to be somebody on the defensive side or what it is? But it'd be interesting to see if we go after a number 1 wide receiver. But I think a lot of it's going to also let's see how these guys perform, and can Waller stay healthy? I mean, that's got a lot to do with it. All right, so we got my continuing series here. I'm on the defensive side. Right, I finished up with the offense. I'm on the defensive side now. I'm just doing the interior defensive lineman, the Giants' interior defensive lineman versus the rest of the NFC. Now, the PFF might have the Eagles number 1, but that's the whole defensive front. They might have them number 1. They ain't number 1. Not my book. I mean, Fletcher Cox, I mean, as I said, last year was his worst year. Right? If he's a starting interior, like defensive tackle, right? He graded out at a 60. He's going to be 30. He'll be 33 in December. So he's getting up there in age. And then they got, Jordan Davis, who did well in a limit. He only played 270 snaps last year. So, can he hold up over a whole season if he's playing? Fletcher, what was Fletcher Cox playing? Fletcher Cox was playing, 40, 50 snaps a game he was playing, right? Jordan Davis was in there for like 15 or 20 snaps a game. So let's say if Jordan Davis can if he winds up being, you don't even know. They drafted him and he wound up being pretty much like a backup for him. I don't know why you pick somebody. Unless the Jalen Carter winds up taking a spot. But we'll be interesting to see. But I don't got the Eagles at number 1. No, actually, I got them at number 3. I got number 1. I got the Commanders. I got the Commanders at number 1. I like their dynamic duo. They're younger than not than Sexy Dexy, but they're younger than Daron Payne. I like him. He didn't grade out super spectacular last year with PFF. They didn't show him a lot of love. He graded out 62.2. But then you got Jonathan Allen in there. So I like Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen. They're both, Jonathan Allen's 28. But Daron Payne, basically he's about the same age as the sexy one. I think he's a year older than Sexy Dexy. But I like Daron Payne and I like Jonathan Allen. So this is that's the number, the defensive tackles, the interior defensive line. So I got the Commanders at number 1. Their first place. So they take 4 points for this. But according to the what I got added up so far, the Commanders are still in 4th place. I'll give you my points in just a minute. But I got the Giants at number 2. All right. Of course, we got Sexy Dexy. He's, to me, I think he's probably the best interior defensive lineman in all the NFC East, without question. The thing is with Leonard Williams, all right, how does he do this year? Can he stay healthy? Is his neck okay? Does he rebound? So I just had a couple questions on him. So it's tough for me really to say, but if Leonard Williams can stay healthy and all, the Giants, obviously their interior defensive 2 linemen are just absolutely phenomenal. But I got the Giants in 2nd place. I got the Eagles. I got them in 3rd place with Fletcher Cox. And as I said, I don't know if they got Jalen. I'm sorry. They're going to have Jordan Davis in there, or if they're going to have Jalen Carter starting at 1 defensive tackle. And they're going to have maybe Fletcher Cox at the other one. But I said Fletcher Cox is getting up there in age. And I said, Jalen Carter hasn't played a snap yet in the NFL. And Jordan Davis did decently last year, but a very minimal, 270 snaps. It was just kind of, I don't know. You drafted, the only thing I can think of is they drafted Jordan Davis last year, the Eagles. Like number 13. Was it 12 or 13? Whatever they drafted him at. It's like, why? And they pretty much, he was like a backup. Why are you drafting somebody that high for a backup? The only thing I think of is unless they thought they were going to lose Hargrave, which they did. Fletcher Cox is getting up there in age. They're going to need to replace him. So maybe that's the only thing I can think of. But you draft somebody at number 13 to be basically like a backup. That's, I don't know. Kind of scratching my head at that one, but I said in a limited role last year, Jordan Davis did well. But let's see if he has to play 40, 50 snaps, 60 snaps in a game. Can he suck it up and play well? Don't know. He hasn't done it yet. And I say Jalen Carter, once again, he did good in college. Can he do good in the pros? I don't know. But going forward, maybe between Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, they might have a heck of a dynamic duo there. Because that's for real. Jalen Carter will be a rookie this season, and Jordan Davis is going to be in his 2nd season. So they could have a nice, formidable 2 guys there for a long time to come. So, but I got them in 3rd place, right? And then, of course, I got the Cowboys. They're in. What I looked at was I got the ESPN. All right, I looked at some Azeez Smith at the depth. All right, and apparently they got Azeez Smith maybe being the starter for the Cowboys in the interior defensive line, and they got Odigizua. He's Osa Odigizua. He's their other one. So I mean, he didn't do too bad last year, but I said, between Maz, once again, Azeez Smith from Michigan, he did, obviously, of course, he did very well in college, but I don't know what he's going to do in the pros. And Odigizua did decently last year, but, last year he graded out, Odigizua, he graded out at 68.2, very respectable. But his first season, he graded out at 46.9. Right, his run defense is not super spectacular. His tackling in neither year was very good either. So I got the Cowboys at number 4. So I got the Cowboys. They get 1 point for being in 4th place. The Eagles get 2 points for coming in 3rd place. The Giants get 3 points for coming in 2nd place. And they got the Commanders. They got 4 points for coming in 1st place. So after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, after 8 positions so far. Tomorrow I'm going to do the edge rushers. But after 8 positions so far, I got the Eagles in 1st place. They got 27 points. The Giants got 19. The Cowboys got 19. And the Commanders got 15. So the Eagles are kicking everybody's butt, unfortunately. And I think with the edge rushers in there, the Eagles will probably do pretty good with that too. But that wraps up that. I still got a long way. I still got to do the edge. I got to do like the middle linebackers, the cornerbacks, the safeties. I'm going to do special teams and coaching too. So I got a long way to go. But that pretty much wraps that up. So, Terrence, as always, buddy, good talking to you, pal. It's been 51 minutes of me shooting my mouth off. Whoever spent any time watching me, thank you, thank you, thank you. It means the world to me. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if anybody spends any time watching the replay, this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.